tired of what I'm doing. Find some other space, 'cause you occupy my mind. But that's alright.
Hello there, and welcome to the first installment of Campbell's Morrell Music Rig Rundowns. We're going to be featuring some local artists here at Campbell's Morrell Music and talk about their rigs and their bands, and also the sales we may have going on in the store and everything. So the very first guest that we're going to have on the very first installment of this Rig Rundown is none other than Matt Sykes of multiple bands, the Kindest People, Demon Waffle, Jacob Danielson Moore and the Boys. Also got a little record company going, the Downspout Records. So if you need some recording done, certainly hit him up on that. First off, let's talk about some of the shows you may have coming up. Anything coming up soon, or that you may know of with any of the bands that you're in?
So, yeah, all sorts of stuff. Jacob Danielson Moore and the Boys will be opening for Off With Their Heads on February 12th at the Hideaway. A couple Kindest People shows coming up. Maybe a little bit of a tour coming up in March there. Just some things to be announced, though, still.
Sweet. I think we'll just get right to the rig rundown part of this show. We're going to be featuring, again, local artists and talk about the rigs they're using live on stage and in the recording studio. First off, I noticed you have this very pretty blue Fender Stratocaster. Is this your main guitar that you use in most of the bands that you're in?
So this is my go-to live guy. 2012, I believe, Fender Strat, American. It's my workhorse. It's beat up. You can see all sorts of nicks and scratches, but that's just the love shining through. But yeah, she's my go-to.
Sweet. Then we're running through this pretty impressive looking pedal board here. I know you're going straight into the Boss Chromatic TU2 tuner. We pretty much all know what that does. And then into the Boss Compression CS3. Is this something that you run most of the time, always on kind of thing, or is this something that you use for a boost, or what?
Yeah, that one never turns off, always on, never even touch it.
Sweet. All right, looks like next in line we got an Ibanez Tube Screamer classic pedal, and then the Electro Harmonics Big Muff Green Russian. Both of those are pretty much standard classic go-to pedals. That's something for the more drive and more drive, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really use the Big Muff much anymore. Every now and then you'll cover Nirvana and you have to play it, but use the Tube Screamer quite a bit.
Sweet. And then we're getting some pedals here that I'm not real familiar with, but maybe you can highlight some of these the smaller mini pedals before we go to that top row and see what else we're running here and what kind of uses you have for those.
All right, so this is my Moore synth pedal. I've used it a lot on recording with solos. I use it live every now and then. Dealing with it on some of these new recordings has been super cool because it does a lot of the work for you, especially if you do these like modulation stuff. Which is super cool because like I could never play that, and it does it for me. But like I also love this setting. We used this on our last record, self-titled album, The Kindest People, available now on Spotify, Apple Music, and all streaming services, to do solo work on our song Wedding Day, which has super cool sound, just a little bit of like a grit to it. Which I just like that tone a lot. It gives you something, your ear, a little something different to hear after you've been used to hearing, distorted guitars the whole record.
Very cool. I love the sound of that pedal. It adds so much dimension and everything else. Like you said, something you couldn't play alone on just guitar without the thing. So yeah, that sounds great.
Next is it's just a little Donner octave pedal. Sometimes if I want to track a solo that way, like with a fifth up, say, I use that one. So I always love this. I always thought I would maybe start a duo with this combo, because if you run the Big Muff and the Octaver together, you basically could just do all the work yourself. very nasty, very like mid-2000s Jack White kind of stuff, which I really like. I don't really use it a lot on my own music, but I do like to mess around with that one a lot. And then just a little tremolo. Use that if I'm doing like blues work. Sometimes I'll play with Daniel Byrd and use that guy a little bit with him.
Sweet. Then I guess we hit to the next top row. It looks like next one's a Dan Electro Rocky Road.
Yeah, not only is it a delicious ice cream, but a very cool pedal. Yeah, it's a Leslie speaker. I don't use it a ton. Once again, one of those things I use a lot in recording, do solos with it, but very, very cool, unique sound. Very interesting pedal.
And then we got your standard run-of-the-mill kind of modulation pedals with the Boss Supercore CH1 into the JHS Series 3 reverb. And it looks like a Joyo vintage phase, probably like a Phase 90 knockoff kind of thing, yeah. And then your two delays pedals with the Behringer delay and the DD3 with the tap tempo. I'm sure that most of these delays and reverbs especially is something you pretty much run all the time.
This delay pedal here, the Behringer delay, I never ever turn that one off. Rarely, sometimes on like solo stuff I'll turn it off, but it's just mostly used as a slapback. Like you barely even know it's on. It's got a nice little slapback, little nasty sound. It's kind of got that like 50s-y, you know, kind of slapback sound.
Yeah, very surf rocky. Yeah, that's for sure. Sweet. So then we're coming out of all these pedals, and looks like we're going into a Fender. Is that a Blues DeVille amp, 212 combo? I think those are 40-watt amps, 6V6, 6L6 amps. I'm not sure, but you keep it kind of clean and use your pedals for all the drive and modulation, I'm assuming.
Yeah, great sounding little amp. Don't really use anything that's on board with it or the reverb tank or anything, but mostly keep that one clean all the time. It has a great distortion channel, but I just, you can't beat the Tube Screamer.
Tube Screamer's where it's at. Yeah, I guess we'll maybe just get some sounds and try out the amp and see what kind of sounds we get out of some of these pedals.
I'll use this combo a lot in recording if you want like a psychedelic sort of thing, which is like the fuzz with the phaser. I tried to do like a Pink Floydian type thing, and I don't really like Pink Floyd that much, but still like super simple. Once again, one of those things where like it kind of does all the work for you. Gives you like a cool sound for a couple bars in a song, so your ears aren't getting tired. That's on our song Don't Wait For Me, also available on our self-titled album, available now on Apple Music, Spotify, and all major streaming services.
We've talked a little bit about your bands and what pedals you use in those bands and some of the solos in the songs and what you use for recording. Getting to recording, we've noticed that you started this record label called a Downspout Records, and you've done a lot of recording. I know you've put out a lot of Kindest People records, and you want to talk about maybe a little bit about some more people you're working with and what you're got planned in the future for that.
Yeah, for sure. So a project I'm super, super stoked on. I've kind of had it in the works for a while. I really love producing, really love recording. So we started Downspout Records. It's fully independent. Just want to highlight artists who focus on, sort of a do-it-yourself aesthetic and, put in the work. Right now we've got some singles coming out. So we've got a new single by Motto and the Loose Balloons coming out called Promised Land. A new single by Jacob Danielson Moore called Love Appalachia. I've got a new solo single that'll be coming out soon. We just put out Live at the Ranch, which is the Kindest People's new live record. We're taking on clients, so if you're a local band who wants to get that Matthew Sykes sound, give me a ring, give me a shout, give me a chat. Would love to work with you. Got a lot of other things coming up down the pipeline for later this year, but very, very stoked on it.
That sounds awesome. I think after what we've heard tonight, everybody would love that Matthew Sykes sound. Again, this is the very first installment of Campbell's Morrell Music Rig Rundown. So we're kind of new at this, trying to figure out what we're doing here tonight, and talking about pedals, gear, recording. We're going to be doing a lot more of this in the future, and we're going to promote the local music scene as much as we can. We'd like to thank Matt for showing up and going through this for our very first event here tonight. And Matt, where is the best place to come get all your gear that you need to make music here locally?
The best place to come for all your gear needs is Campbell's Morrell Music in downtown Johnson City.
Thank you again for tuning in, and we hope to see you again soon with a brand new installment, and stay tuned for that. Thanks so much.
I love you, Dave.